Welcome to the beer review of me, Jake. So today we're looking at a beer from the Curious Brewery in Kent, brewed in collaboration with Fourpure. This is their Curiouser and Curiouser Chapter 3, The Arts. It is a Yuzu, pink grapefruit and tangerine lager brewed with champagne yeast, coming in at 4.7%. Curious Brewery were a brewery that I had a few dealings with when I lived in Kent, and they used to brew it was called Curious Brew, and that was a lager, and I sort of had it, and it was a bit sort of like throwaway, but now I think they're sort of rapidly expanding. They're owned by a winemakers, a vineyard, I don't know what they are, called Chapeldown, and this is their sort of brewing arm called Curious Brewery. A little bit more about this beer. On the back it says, a distinctive series of small batch beers by the Curious Brewery, each produced with a winemaker's twist. Chapter 3, The Arts, is a collaboration between our head winemaker, Josh Donegay Spire. We got to be a winemaker with a name like that. And Fourpure Brewing Co. Made especially for the Curious Arts Festival, an irresistibly citrusy take on our headlining lager, Curious Brew. Unorthodox, vibrant and refreshing to match the festival's lineup. Cheers. Well, I don't know too much about the festival. When was this canned on? Canned at the end of August, so what are we now? December, so it's got a little bit of age to it. So yeah, it was a Yuzu, pink grapefruit and tangerine lager. Let's have a little look, shall we? Quite a vigorous head on it. Does look quite nice. It's sort of rocky and meringue-like in a certain respect. It is a hazy, light straw colour. Yeah, so it sort of looks, it's got that sort of unfiltered lager vibe to it. But that head's great. Is that sort of the champagne yeast doing its work? Let's give it a swirl and a sniff. Oh wow, pink grapefruit instantly for me. There's some little peppery in there. It's almost got a saison quality. Yeah, I'm getting sort of like candied lemon peel. It's almost like a dry lemony aroma. But doesn't smell half bad. Doesn't necessarily smell like a lager in the traditional sense. For me it's going down that saison route, but it's got that champagne yeast. It's got all of those sort of citrus fruit additions. So let's see what it tastes like. Cheers. I'll just come out and say it's a tad underwhelming. Perfectly pleasant. Hasn't knocked my socks off. The aroma made it seem like it was going to be a little bit more pungent and a little bit sort of, maybe even verging on sort of like the sour side of things. Again, for me it's sort of like dried lemon. There's a little bit of sweet grapefruit, like grapefruit with sugar on it. Then there's a saison edge, and then actually what you're left with is sort of like quite a bog standard lager, almost verging on sort of like the American adjunct lager route. Really, it's got that slight sort of like corn vibe to it. If you keep wondering what that is, I've got a boo-boo, so I've got a little Donald Duck plaster. Perfectly drinkable, quite refreshing. Just not sort of that exciting really. But with sort of like the look and the feel of the can, the description, the wine maker's aspect to it. I thought it was going to be a little bit more interesting. The champagne yeast has made this taste a bit like a saison, and saisons aren't always the most interesting thing in the whole world. Would I buy it again? Probably not, but I'd give their other stuff a go. It's intrigued me that much really. So this was everything from Curious Brewing's Curiouser and Curiouser, what's it called again? Chapter 3, The Arts. Yuzu, pink grapefruit and tangerine lager brewed with champagne yeast. I've been Jake. Remember to like and subscribe. Watch more, why not? Leave a comment. Do all that stuff. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.